Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Gemma, and joining me this week, I have my excellent friend, the one and only Kirk. Welcome back, Kirk.
Hey, it's good to be here. I hope everybody stateside had a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Yes, Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all who celebrate. We have some interesting news, of course, to go through, as well as a ton of games that we're playing this week. So that's going to be our main draw this week, I think. But we did want to say happy Thanksgiving to everyone. It is that time of year. We're leading into the holidays, that holiday spirit, I suppose. And there was a really cool, thanks, every year, I think, is a Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Is that right, Kirk?
Yes.
Yes. I don't know a whole lot about it except that it's a thing.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh, is it? Why
I
is
think
that?
the one thing in the world that I hate watching more than game or award shows
Yeah,
are televised parades. And,
right.
and the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade is the absolute worst of them all.
Really? How
Yeah, it's
many
like it's a 3 hour commercial. I mean,
Mhm, mhm.
the floats go by and they look kind of cool, but every time one goes by there is PR speak that is written for the people who are commentating to talk about it, so they're literally reading off a script the entire time, and all it's doing is promoting whatever the float is or whatever show is being performed. So yeah, it's just a giant commercial, and they get the most boring personalities to do the
Oh.
commentary. Yeah, it's awful.
Fair enough.
Sorry, I hate to be a curmudgeon, as it does officially, for the most part, kick off our Christmas season here.
Mhm.
But I just can't do it.
No, that's okay. I won't delve more into that because I have questions like how long has it been a thing and why is it televised? We just
I
don't have that sort of thing in Australia. So
yeah, good for you. I think, well, because what we're about to talk about, it said at the beginning of that press release that this was the 99th Macy's Thanksgiving Day
Oh,
Parade. So yeah,
right. Okay. Yeah, because Nintendo had a presence this year,
yeah,
right? Do they not
yeah.
usually?
Well, this is the first time they've. I'm pretty sure there have been Pokemon floats
Oh,
before.
yeah. That
I
sounds
think
like a
every
thing.
year, and I believe
Mhm.
Sonic has been there. It's not Nintendo, but tangentially related.
Mhm.
So yeah, but this is the first time that Mario apparently has ever been part of it, and I was very surprised to learn that.
Yeah. Me too, I suppose. I don't know what is usually there, but yeah, it's a giant. I guess it's impressive that there is such a big Mario floating down the street. Like, I would be I think that would be kinda cool to see. But, yeah, they even give the dimensions here. It's like 51 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
37
something
feet.
the commentators will do throughout the whole thing. Every balloon that
Oh.
goes by, we got to hear how big it is or how long it is.
Oh, okay. That could get monotonous. It's not a competition, right? Like
No, I don't think so. Do they have competitions at the end? No, I don't.
I don't know. No, I don't
Yep.
know. Anyway, the Mario one does look really cool. He's really happy and, red and blue is very colorful and bright. Looks like he's flying, I suppose, like a Mario
Yeah.
Galaxy kind of pose, which is pretty neat. So yeah, I think that's cool. The rest of it we can ignore, but let's just say, yay, Nintendo is there with Mario. So looks
Yeah,
like
and
they're
I
all
will
having
say,
fun.
when I lived in New York, one year we went down to watch them inflate the balloons like the
Oh
evening
yeah.
before and well into the night, and that was really cool. So like being there, it's got to be pretty fun.
Yeah,
But
okay. Hmm.
yeah, so good for Mario.
Yeah, yeah, good for Mario. Well, yeah, let us know, listeners, if you happen to be at the parade or watched it or what your thoughts are. Yeah, it's not something that I don't think would even be televised here. I've never, I've heard of it on, I think they mentioned it on shows like Seinfeld. I remember seeing there was an episode where they were talking about the Macy's Day Parade, and I think, I can't remember what happened, but we hear about it that way. It's not like
Okay.
it's not even in the news, I don't think, here. So, so yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So last week we were talking about Kirby Air Riders, which came out, and there's been a sales. Well, every week they give sales numbers for Japan sales. They're really good at the numbers over there, actually. Not so much in other territories, not consistently, not as quickly. But Japan has released its sales figures, in general for the Switch and Switch 2, like for all the games. But Kirby Air Riders sold 195,594 physical units in Japan during its first week, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Not a surprise, I suppose, because Kirby is super popular in Japan. Yeah, so I thought that was really neat, and I wonder how, because what happens usually is a game, obviously, in its first week does really well. It continues to do well for a few more weeks, but it does taper off a little bit. The first week is usually the biggest week, so it will be interesting to see how that tracks over time. As I said, it is holiday season though, so games like Kirby Air Riders will probably stay pretty high for the next little while, while people do purchase it for a gift or for themselves over the holidays, whatever it might be. Games like, I guess, Horror Warriors was still in the top 10 when I had a quick look during the week. So that's still a thing. But then you've also got like Animal Crossing was number 10, I think, for the
Yeah.
Nintendo sales. Yeah.
Sure.
So, and Mario Kart. Well, Mario Kart World, I think, was definitely there. There's a lot of cool games. But yeah, that's a really nice sale number. We have no sales data for the US or any other territories, do we, at this point? Nintendo
I
didn't
haven't
really.
seen. I
No.
haven't seen anything. I mean, and I'm not surprised by that because they just don't do that very much over here. I am
Yeah.
curious as to why they only focused on the physical units in Japan.
Yeah, well, that's what the sales data is week to week, and I don't know why either. Because yeah, if that's like 200,000 odd physical units, imagine how many digital copies would have moved. And I don't know why it's always physical in this particular sales data. I don't know why. I'm not sure. I think they say that for the fiscal report, maybe the
Okay.
total sales. Yeah, but it's interesting because yeah, it's probably what, double that. I have no idea how it would compare, to be honest. I don't know whether Japan is more physical or digital for these types of games. Not sure. Yeah, it's a good question though. Hmm.
Well, we'll see what they do. We'll
Yeah.
see what they let us know. Eventually,
Yeah.
we'll find out what you know.
Yeah,
How,
exactly. Exactly. But yeah, good on Kirby Air Riders. I'll talk a bit more about that later because I have been playing it. I've almost finished my review, Kirk. I just need to tidy it up a little bit and then I'll send it to the group for proofing. So that should be up hopefully around the time that this podcast airs, actually. So
Right.
definitely been enjoying my time with it. It's been really positive. I think the general consensus online has been quite positive from players. I'm seeing a lot of people posting about how crazy and fun it is, and how different it is, and it really does stand out that way. So there's not much like it. So
Yeah.
yeah, which is
There
a good
was
thing.
Sam came up to me with something he saw on social media where a guy was talking about it, was playing it, and he showed me the video. Said, "Is it really like this insane? Is that the actual gameplay?"
Yes.
Said, "I do believe it is. Yeah."
It
So
is. It is crazy. It
yeah,
really is. It's chaotic, fun, but yeah, it's as crazy as you're hearing. Yes, absolutely. But it is fun also. That is a very important part to take away. But I guess the next big game, and I can't believe it's this close now. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is coming out in just a few days after this podcast airs. It's this Thursday, the 4th of December. And I thought we could just have a little quick look at, I suppose, the history of this series from your perspective, Kirk, because I know you are a big fan. And how long can you remind us how long we've been waiting for Metroid Prime 4?
was it 8 years? Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it
Yeah.
was 2017, right? That it was
Wow.
announced.
Yeah.
So absolutely crazy long period. Worth the wait, I hope, I suppose. We haven't played. I got to play it at PAX, like I said, in October. So I got to play, I guess, what was kind of the first level. I believe there are playable demos at like Best Buy or something over in the
Yeah.
States. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I saw that report.
So that's cool. So people are getting their hands on it ahead of time, which is really nice. There's no like demo or anything like that. We will definitely be talking about it next week. Are you planning to get it? Is this one that you're getting day one, or is this one you're holding off for your wish list for Christmas?
Yeah, this is one I'm holding off for, and it's going to
Ah,
drive me
okay.
nuts. In
Yeah.
fact, when we get to games we're playing, you'll see that I've addressed the issue with the gap that I'm facing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this will be my Christmas day.
Right.
Once
Okay.
gifts are open, the TV will be mine until I go to bed.
Yeah. Nice. That's something to look forward to. And thankfully, it's not too far off. It comes out on the 4th. Christmas is the 25th, obviously. So that's only 3 weeks away, right? From then.
Yep.
So that's pretty good. Yeah. Well, we'll certainly talk about it next week. I will, I think, be reviewing this one actually. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it. I don't know what Trev's plans are, but yeah, I at the very least will have had some time with it by the time we by the time we air next week's show. So yeah, I look forward to talking about that. Are you, sorry, yeah.
Have you seen the reports of different people complaining about the characters and the use of story in it?
No, really? Why?
Yeah, well, I'm bringing it up because they're also ridiculously stupid. Yeah, yeah. Some of the people who've had reviews have just it's like they've got to find anything they can to complain about.
Oh, yeah, right.
With a game, yeah, and I guess
Mhm,
there are some like characters who get annoying at
mhm.
some point, and then others are upset because there's even story at all, and it should just be the action going through it. I'm like,
Right.
man, let these guys make the game they want to make. They've been at it for what, 8 years? Let's
Yeah.
say they've been developing it for 9, and you're
Mm.
complaining about the use of characters.
Yeah, that's crazy. So these
Yeah.
early reviews, is the embargo up already? Are the reviews out now? I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
well, I think the one that I read was like it wasn't a full review. It was, we've had time with it, and boy, I sure hope this character isn't around much longer. That kind of thing.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, none
Interesting.
of this is going to temper my enthusiasm for Metroid Prime 4.
Well, that's good. Have
Yeah.
you got a favorite of the previous entries?
Do I? I don't know. Probably 3. I honestly think it was
Yeah?
3. Yeah,
Okay.
because I think we had just advanced. Like, I came into it late. I played a little bit of Metroid Prime on the GameCube.
Mhm.
My father-in-law had it, so I played it on his system.
Right.
But when I really got into it was when they released the trilogy for the Wii with
Mhm.
the controllers. I had that, and I sold it. So
Ah, yeah.
I'll take that mistake with me through the rest of my life. Um, yeah, but I had the trilogy, and I think they all just built so well that by the time we got to the third, I thought this is, now this game is really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will say also that I had no problem whatsoever with Other M. I thought it
Mhm,
was a great game.
mhm. Yeah, I think Trevor said the same thing, right? Like, yeah. And so this is why I've just realized, Metro Prime 3 came out in 2007 because I've seen people online saying, "We've been waiting 18 years for this," and I'm like, "How does that work?" Because 'Cause I'm sure they only announced it in 2017. But if you think about it's been 18 years since the last one?
Wow.
That's
And
crazy.
we thought we had it bad with Pikmin.
Yes, exactly, yes. This is way longer, a much bigger break between outings, so no wonder people are clamoring for it, so I'm really excited for all those fans who have been waiting this long and cannot wait to get their hands on this new game, this new
Mhm.
iteration. I hope it, fits in with their expectations and gives them a satisfying experience,
Yeah.
really. So I'm looking forward to hearing everyone's thoughts as well as I give my own. But yeah, it's an exciting time. It's
Yeah,
hard to believe it's finally here.
especially if you've got the Switch too.
Mhm.
Like this is the game that I think out of all the games that have been released so far that I really am glad I'm going to be playing on the Switch too.
Yes. Yeah, me too. I think this is a really good example, and people are saying that online too. Like this is going to be the game that I guess showcases the power and the graphics and really, even though it is available on the Switch One, right? This comes with two
Yeah.
versions. Yeah.
Yep.
So, which is great because people who have been waiting 18 years may not have a Switch 2 yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is gonna be that game that hopefully defines the system, especially I think this timing is really good now that I think about it. The end of the year, we've had 6 months of Switch 2-ish almost, and this is kind of, I don't know, the last game for this period, like, for this year, if you wanna call it that, for 2025. What a way to end the year, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, with this huge release. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, I think
Mm.
it's a really good way to bookend more or less
Yes.
the launch period where we had a Mario Kart World and I guess Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Yeah,
Um,
that was a month in, yeah, July.
yeah, but yeah, and then now here we are at the end with we're closing that section off with Metroid Prime 4, and then we hit 2026 with everything else that's finally rolling out. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, totally agree. I love that. Yeah, bookend, that's the term I was thinking, actually, that's what I was looking for. Love that. Yeah, so listeners, we definitely wanna know if you're planning to pick this up day 1. Hopefully next week we will have a guest on the show as well, another podcaster from Australia who's going to join us to talk about Metroid Prime 4 as well. So stay tuned for that and all of our thoughts as we as we get excited about this major release, the last one for the year. Well, from Nintendo. There's plenty of other releases. There is actually a lot of gaming goodness at the moment. So I guess, did you want to say anything else about Metroid or that series, Metroid Prime series? Sorry, which one did you say you started with on the GameCube?
Metroid Prime.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yep.
Yeah, because the GameCube was your main system. Like that's when you got
Yeah,
into Nintendo.
although I never had that game myself. That's why I mentioned my father-in-law had
Mm,
it. So whenever I was over at their house, I would play it
yeah. Would you
on the
say,
GameCube.
just thinking about what you said about the story and people, whatever, for whatever reason, thinking there's too much of it or the characters are annoying, how would you consider the stories in the last three games? Like, would you say they're detailed or not? Do you think this, by the sounds of it, I know you haven't played it or really even seen a proper review, but do you think this has more story?
In 4,
Mm,
well, from what I'm reading, it does, and in that way, maybe it's a little bit more like Other M because that was
mhm,
the problem most people had with Other M was it told a story that they didn't like or portrayed Samus in a way that they didn't like, and you can
mm,
get that with a narrative if the developers are, going directions you don't want it to, whereas if you're just focusing on the action, there's less likely there's gonna be any kickback because the gameplay's the gameplay, and I think in the first 3 Metroid Prime games, there was a story, of course, but it mainly just served to get you from here to there and give you a reason to do this or a reason to do that. It didn't like stop and
mm,
give you a bunch of cutscenes and tell this giant overarching narrative that you really had to pay attention to.
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know if 4 is going to be more like Other M in that regard. I can't imagine it is, and I think it's all getting blown out of proportion. But
yeah.
even if it is, I don't mind story. I don't mind cutscenes and narratives and characters, depending on how they're voiced.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'll reiterate, but yeah. So maybe we'll end up getting like a little bit of both, like a cross between Metroid Prime Three's approach and Other M's approach, and see what we get.
Mm, that seems likely, yeah. I don't think they're gonna go as far down that path, but I mean, it's gotta be bigger and better than the last 3 anyway, right? Like, they have to
Oh
do
yeah, I'm
more.
sure.
Yeah, and why not make it epic? Why not make it, more involved and give more depth to the characters,
Yeah,
after 7, well, sorry, after 18 years really since the 3rd one. They've had a lot of time to think about this and work on it. I don't know how long they've actually been working on it. Since it was announced in 2017, you think maybe they started before that. I know they had challenges with the developer and they changed developers at some point, which is part of the reason for the delay. But either way, this has been a game a long time in the making, and I think the bigger it is, the better. And let's get our, I guess, money's worth and get our fan service, for want of a better term. Just thinking, like, don't fans want more to do? Like, a story sounds like it's going to flesh it out a bit more and give you more time with the game, if anything. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that's the case. Yeah. Now I'm really curious about that. I'm looking forward to seeing this and finding out what it is that people are getting so worked up about for no reason. Yeah. It's gonna be great. Cool.
Yep.
Well, thank you, Kirk, for your thoughts there on Metroid Prime in the series. Let us know, listeners, what's your favorite in the series so far, and how excited are you for Metroid Prime 4? I have a friend at work who has just told me yesterday that he's getting a Switch 2 for his kids for Christmas, which I thought was really neat. And he said he's getting Mario Kart and Donkey Kong with that. But he wanted to know what was a more kind of a mature game, like for him to play. I'm like, oh, well, Metroid Prime 4 is coming out like this week. So there's your answer right there. And he liked the look of that one. He's not this is the reason I'm telling you this is because he's not really a big Nintendo fan, but I feel like people, are buying the Switch 2 either for themselves or for the kids because it has such a good reputation now. It has such a good library of games. And I love that he's thinking about it not just as a kid's product, like not just the Mario Kart, not the Mario Kart is a kid's game, but you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, but he's thinking about what can he play on it as well. I'm like, that's a great question. And here are some games like there's Cyberpunk, there's, you know, even things like Hades 2. Like there's so many games you can try. But the first thing I said was, it's a good time of year because Metroid Prime 4 is about to come out and people have been waiting a long time for this. I sent him the link to the eShop listing. I'm like, check this out. So yeah, I just love that. I think people are being very positive at the moment. So I hope that continues, of course. There's also, we have the Nintendo Switch Online that they've now called the Nintendo Classics, and they seem to add, I think it seems to be monthly now, right? Like this seems to be November's list, and 4 games were added to the collection, and they are, I think, 2 NES games, 2 NES games, and 2 Game Boy games, which is Ninja Gaiden 2, The Dark Sword of Chaos, Battletoads, Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters, and Bionic Commando. And I've kind of heard of all these, but I've never played them. Have you heard of these before or played them?
No, I think I'm like you. I think I have heard of most of mine. Of course, I've heard of Kid Icarus. I had to
Mm.
look up Myths and Monsters to see what was different about
Mm.
it or what it is. I've heard of Battletoads, never played it. And Ninja Gaiden, of course, grew to be something completely different. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was hoping to get around to trying all these before the show, but I didn't. I I did try Battletoads though, so I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I think Kid Icarus, as you mentioned there, is obviously a familiar franchise, and I'm not sure why I never played this one. I did play the original NES game and quite enjoyed that. It was very hard. I was, I was a kid and I didn't get very far with that one. I kept getting turned into an eggplant. So, you familiar with the eggplant wizard who turns people into eggplants?
no,
No.
I
Yeah.
can imagine being turned into an eggplant, but I didn't know it would happen to you in a video game.
Yes. It's very random, very random. Yeah, so I have not tried Kid Icarus of Myths and Monsters. I would like to give that one a go. But I was really curious about Battletoads because this is a game I've heard of, I guess, forever. Like, I think it came out maybe the early 90s. I'm not sure why. I guess I was never really into the Battletoads franchise, if that's what you call it, or series. I think it was a cartoon. I'm not even really sure now. Like, was it to compete? It sounded like it was to compete with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to me.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. But this game has a reputation for being crazy hard. That's the thing I've always heard. And I know actually the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game was also very hard on the NES, and we actually did have that one, and that was very hard. So I thought I'd give that one a go, just because I've heard of it and I'd heard it was really hard. I wanted to try it. Obviously, with Switch Online, with these classic games, you can rewind and have save points. So I did that a lot just to see how far I could go. And I only played it for maybe an hour, but I think I got through the first 5 levels. And I think there are maybe, I did look this up, but I can't remember now. I think there's like 15, 12 to 15, something like that. So not quite halfway, but it is crazy hard. Like, it's just so brutal. If I didn't have the rewind feature, I would have not got anywhere near level 5. So, yeah, but it's fun. It's actually pretty fun. It's more in depth than I expected. It is a little like the TMNT series in that it's more or less a side scrolling adventure and it's a beat 'em up. You're beating up aliens. You're on this planet, I suppose. And what I quite enjoyed was that you start off on the surface of the planet. There's like a level that's kind of underground, like an icy kind of level. There's a speed racing level, and you just have to have super fast reflexes. I don't know how anyone could get through this in one go. But you have to like dodge left and right to move to sort of avoid these barriers, and then jump over some barriers, and then duck under some barriers, and then jump over these kind of chasms. Again, the rewind feature really helped me there because you only have 5 hearts. And so then if you lose a heart, obviously, I don't even know what happens because I didn't lose 5 hearts because I rewound it so many times. But yeah, it's fun. It's really fun. But I imagine it would be very frustrating, the original. And I guess that was the point back then. Like they say things were NES hard, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If things were too easy, you were done with them in a week. So
Yeah.
they had to be terribly frustrating so you could get months of gameplay out of them.
Yeah. So I can imagine people were learning the patterns of this, this hovercraft section, for example, or whatever. I don't know what the vehicle is, but yeah, I guess if you learn the patterns like up, down, jump, jump, whatever, at some point you're going to be like really good at that and just nail
Mhm.
it, which would be satisfying. Yeah. Anyway, it was really cool. I thought I'd give that a go. I was hoping Trev would be on because I'm sure he has played that game, but we'll
Probably.
see.
And
Probably, yeah.
I found here that it was developed by Rare.
Oh yes, I saw that when the game started actually, and I don't know if I didn't know that or I'd forgotten, but yeah, I feel like Trev would have known that too. So
I bet.
yeah, so
He
Rare
probably
Studios,
knows the name of the toads also.
yeah, probably, yeah. Yes, so very interesting, a fun little outing. Whether I will continue or not remains to be seen. I have a lot of other games to play, but I definitely wanted to give that a go and try it, and I have, and so now I can say I've played Battletoads. Tick that one off my bucket list there. So, yeah. So yeah, Rare. That's really cool. Good to know. I think that must have been an early game for them then, I suppose. Like that was
Yeah.
probably before Donkey Kong. Oh yeah, definitely before Donkey Kong Country because that was Super Nintendo and this was the NES. So
I'm trying to pull up
mm.
some kind of timeline of their releases, but I'm not finding it, so I can't say where it fit in with everything else.
That's all right. No, that's cool. Well, let us know if you're a fan of any of those old school games and if you've played Battletoads, and especially if you've beaten Battletoads, that would be impressive, or how far you got with the original. Because yeah, it's hard. So yeah, and I had to. I guess, do you call it cheating to use the rewind feature? It's there. It's not really cheating.
No, it's practicing.
It's practicing, yeah, because I wasn't, it was me. It was all me. It's just when I died, I had a do-over, like,
Yeah.
straight away. So it is really handy, I will say. Yeah, it's really cool. So let's move on to Kirk's Corner. What's your game of the week that you wanted to talk about? Upcoming game of the week.
Well, today I'm going to talk about a game about digging a hole. As that's what it's called. The name of the game is a game about digging a hole. And from what I've read from the press release and checking out various things about it, that literally is what it is. It's a very quick game where you dig a hole and you find stuff. I guess it's $5 on the Nintendo eShop. Comes out December 9th, so it should be available quickly. And I went to Metacritic to see what people thought about this game because if literally that's all you're doing, how could it be entertaining? But it's got a 75 out of 100 on Metacritic.
Cool.
And I guess as you're digging, you're finding things and taking them back up. Like the hole just goes down and down and down and down, and you can find things like different types of ore or whatever. I don't know a whole lot beyond that. I'm literally just going off the press release I got, but out of all of them that came in this week, I thought, wait a minute, is there really a game where you're doing nothing but digging a hole? And it sounds like you can get it finished in about an hour. So not a long game, but again, priced accordingly at only $5.
Mm.
Uh,
Mhm.
so, if you're looking for something that doesn't involve a whole lot more than going down and seeing what you can find, I will say in the trailer, at the very end of the trailer, there you hear like some kind of monster.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's like digging too deep into Mordor and you've released the what is it, the Balrog? Is that what that thing was called?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if that happens, but the trailer implies that maybe when you do get to the end, there's something waiting there more than just the satisfaction of having dug a deep hole.
Yeah, right. Interesting. It looks like it's from a first person perspective too, this
Yeah.
game. Yeah, like all you can see is your little digger, whatever that is, that drill, I suppose.
Yep.
Yeah, which is cool. And apparently, this is a Steam game originally that came out only earlier this year, actually. So
Yeah.
February. And now it's making its way to the Switch and I suppose the Switch 2. Not that it has a Switch 2 edition, I don't think. Is that right? It's just
No
compatible. Yeah.
Switch. Yeah, compatible.
Compatible. Yeah, I mean, it looks like the graphics look pretty well, not sort of realistic, but with that cartoony kind of overlay to them, if that makes sense. But it looks kind of fun.
Yeah,
4.99. Yeah, it's a very small game. Like it's only 210 megabytes, so
yeah.
that's won't take up. I know Trev stresses a little bit about taking up space, so this one won't. This one you won't have that problem. So yeah, that is a cool little different sort of game. And I do wonder, yeah, like as you dig, do you have to come back up to sell the stuff? Maybe by the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks like it. In the trailer, they're coming back up and going to a computer and entering what they find, and they're getting money for it.
Hmm.
You find briefcases full of cash down there. What else do you see? Oh, and it looks like also you're like dropping lights as you go. So the
Ah,
deeper you get,
mhm.
you have to place lights to be able to see, to go down further. Um, uh, to me, it's like one of those kind of games where the satisfaction is in like cleaning something up, like those power washing games that are for some reason
Yeah.
popular.
Yes.
There's just a satisfying feeling of getting that on. It's almost like pulling when you get a new TV and you pull that adhesive plastic
Oh,
off that's
yeah.
protecting it. Yeah,
Yeah, that is satisfying, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah. So maybe digging the hole will provide that same sort of satisfaction. I don't know.
Mm. Looks like the Steam version has some extra bundles or something, or maybe it's 2 games, actually. I was thinking it might be DLC, but maybe it's not. So I was just wondering if there'd be extra content coming, but potentially that's not the case. But yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
they didn't. They don't mention that in the
Ah,
eShop right
okay.
now. So
Yeah. And I mean, the publishers, I suppose, are responsible for things like Super Dungeon Maker and like Harvest Life. Looks like they do quite a lot of sim games for the Switch.
okay,
Sugar G Valley, which sounds a lot like Stardew Valley. So
it does.
yeah, so they do have quite a few Switch games. So hopefully this one is fun. Are we going to be playing this? Is this going to be a review game for us?
It could be.
It could be. Yeah.
I haven't replied yet. Yeah, maybe. Now that I mention it, I suppose I should find it. And who amongst our reviewing staff would not want to get their hands on a game they could complete in 1 hour?
Oh, yeah. That is a real treat, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. I love that. Thank you, Kirk. I guess listeners, let us know if you've heard of that one. I'm gonna suggest maybe people haven't, but maybe, and now you have. So keep an eye out for that one. December the 9th, was it?
Yes.
Yeah. I love that it's just a budget-friendly game. If you're playing Metroid Prime 4 or, Pokemon DLC that's coming out or something bigger that you wanna break, you wanna just dig. I think you're right. It does sound satisfying.
Yeah.
There's, what is it? SteamWorld, Dig, those games, which probably I guess are a bit more in depth, but they're so fun just digging in the mines, like looking for treasure, even though that's, yeah, like I said, there's a bit more of a story to it, and it's a longer game than an hour, but and that's also side like it's a platforming sort of style, but same principle. Digging is fun. Like it is. All the way back to Dig Dug, right? It
Oh
was
yeah. Boy, yeah. That I have plenty of experience with.
yeah, yeah. So maybe think of it as a first person version of Dig Dug with fewer enemies, potentially,
Yeah.
unless there's something at the end that we maybe think.
And
Yeah.
you know what you do with a game like this too is you get your eShop gift cards for the holidays, and you
Mhm.
buy games with it, and then you have just like $4 or $5, $6 left on it.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
enough to make a dent into a major purchase, but yeah,
Mm.
clear it out with a $5 game about digging a hole.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good tactic, yeah. And then it feels like it's free because once your card's loaded on the system, it feels like
Yeah.
it's just credit then. So, yeah, you can use it for something like this. Okay, cool. Well, let's, see how we go with that one if we get a chance to review it. We'll talk about it when it comes out and whether it's worth your time and worth using your leftover eShop dollars there. Thank you, Kirk.
Hmm.
Well, let's move on to the games we're playing. We have a very healthy list of games this week. So I'll kick things off with Kirby Air Riders, which I sort of teased earlier because of the sales. But yeah, this is a game, as I said, I'm reviewing it. The review's almost ready, so watch for that. But I have really enjoyed my time with Kirby Air Riders. It's amazing how my perception, I suppose, of this has changed. It's complete 180 since it was first announced. Like when I saw it during the Nintendo Direct initially, I was like, I'm not particularly interested in this. As we've learnt more about it, like my curiosity was piqued a little bit, but I've never been much of a racing fan apart from Mario Kart. Obviously, I love Mario Kart. I'm just not very good at races. And I love Kirby, to be honest, and to be fair. I do really love Kirby, but I love his, platforming games more than anything. I haven't had a whole lot of luck with his Like, what was that one where he eats all the food that came out a couple of years ago? And that was such a waste of money. It was like $20, and it's just like you just walk around eating food, and it was like, okay, this was not worth $20. So, but this is not that. This is obviously it's more than $20, but it is a much bigger game. And I talked last week about the first player mode, so I continued with that. I did finish it, and of course, you can go back and do it again on different difficulty levels with different characters. You can keep unlocking things. There's just so much to this game. There's just so much to do, and it feels very satisfying and rewarding because you're constantly you're constantly rewarded with little things, whether it's new characters, new machines, new stickers, or other bits and pieces. There's this puzzle element where you unlock pieces via a puzzle. So every time it's like an achievement system, I suppose. Every time you would make this achievement, a specific achievement, you get a new piece of the puzzle, and you want to fill out the puzzle. And I'm getting very close to, to filling it now. So you want to keep going, you want to see, and you can see what you need to do. You can see the achievements that you haven't done yet. So it's like spend 20,000 coins at the shop or something, or beat this person under 30 seconds or whatever it is. Like there's heaps of different challenges. And so that just gives you more incentive to replay. And there's also the various modes. And, the fact that it's called Air Riders, the Air Riders mode is probably the one I've played the least, just because I've really been enjoying City Trials and the one player mode and the top down mode. Like there's just so much to do. Like it's crazy how initially, like I said, I wasn't interested, and that's because I just thought it was a racer. And at its heart, it is. But they've added so much more content that it's become just so much. It's so much bigger than just a racer. So that's why it's hard to compare it to something like Mario Kart. Mario Kart is a true kart racer. This is more of a beat 'em up racer, like a collectathon. It's there's battles like with giant enemies, and it's just you in an arena with a giant enemy, and you have to take them out in a certain amount of time. Like there's
Are
definitely
you racing to take him out? Like, do
no,
you have to
well,
drive into him or
sometimes, yeah, sometimes you're just in an arena, like literally just like a circle, and you're just running around trying to defeat him. He's got a health bar or whatever, so you have to deplete his health fully to win that match. Sometimes you are racing them and you have to catch up to them and knock them out and beat them that way, and that's really hard. I find those quite difficult, but they're satisfying when you do them. And what you do is you start off in the racing ones, for example. Sometimes I can't even catch the person, let alone defeat them. So then you change your machine, and different machines have different abilities and powers, and then maybe you've got a better chance of catching them. Plus, you're using copy abilities the whole time. So there's abilities all across the arena or the racetrack or whatever. You swallow them and you become sword fighter Kirby. Or any character can be a sword fighter. It doesn't have to be Kirby, but you become a sword fighter. So then when you drive into them, you automatically slash them with your sword. Or you become fighter Kirby and he kicks like crazy. Or you become there's a fireball one, and that one you press a button and you shoot a fireball. Or there's a bomb, or there's this kind of bionic energy wave thing. There's heaps to choose from, and they're all really fun, and they have sometimes they're more useful than others. But for example, at the end of the first player mode, there's this giant boss, like this huge robotic thing, and that was quite tricky but satisfying to do. And you have to sort of work out how you're going to get to the top of this thing to defeat it, or hit the sides where it's vulnerable, or whatever it might be. So it's not just racing; it's also just battles. It's just battles on a racer, if that makes sense. So yeah, it took me by surprise just how much more to it there is than just racing. Because yeah, it's certainly not a simple racer at all. So yeah, it's really fun. I've really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend it if you like crazy races. I don't know how would I recommend this. If you like Kirby and you like Smash Brothers, I suppose to an extent, but more so just chaotic fun. Like there's mini games where you have to just race as fast as you can down this little sort of straight road, jump off a booster and hit a number in a panel and get the highest number. Or you have to float down through a series of like rotating fans or lasers and hit various points and get the highest points. Like it's that kind of thing as well. It's almost like mini games sometimes. So it varies so much, the style and the content, which I think keeps it really feeling very fresh and interesting. So yeah, it's just huge. It's really huge. I I don't know quite yet what my score is going to be. It's going to be good. It'll definitely be, 8 to 9 kind of thing. So watch out for my full review. Did you have any further questions about Kirby Air Riders?
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Yeah, right.
Like,
It
as I read it and watch the videos and everything, I really do think that Nintendo's, blowing it here by not making this available in a demo, and maybe it's just,
mm,
maybe you would have to download too much in order to really get anything,
mhm,
so I suppose that could be the problem, but, 'cause,
yeah,
I play Mario Kart, and I like Mario Kart, but it's never a game I'm going to pick up on my own. That's always a game where if, and one of my family wants to play or, we wanna have a game night, if you're Nintendo, I'll join in.
mhm,
I wonder if Kirby Air Riders is more my thing, and I would
mm.
find it more intriguing and be willing to dig into it on my own.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I've certainly had fun playing solo, um, and with, my kids as well. And online too. So there's various ways to play, just like Mario Kart. But I do feel like this has a much stronger. I mean, Mario Kart has the free roam, I suppose, but this is that's more of a relaxing little outing into the countryside and collecting whatever. But this is full on. Like the one player mode is quite challenging, and I did the easy mode to start with, and I finished that. But it took a while. Like I said last week that it was 8 levels or something, it ended up being like 12. Like there's heaps of levels and it just gets progressively harder. And I had to redo it quite a bit sometimes. Not quite to the point of frustration, but on the easy mode, the fact that I struggled a little bit, you can imagine how hard the most difficult mode is. And yeah, even in this one player mode, the content just varies so much. It is really hard to explain because it's not just you're racing from point A to point B and you're trying to get number one. Sometimes you're racing to get number one. Sometimes you're racing to take someone out, like literally hit them enough times that they explode. Sometimes you're in an arena with a giant boss. Sometimes you're doing these mini games, and you can choose between them. There's always three to choose from. Well, not always. Sometimes the boss fights are just the boss fights, but generally you can choose which one works best for you. Sometimes you're doing the city trial version where you have to just collect as many icons as you can or gobble as much food on the road as you can. That's another one that's really fun. Sometimes it's a top-down race, sometimes it's a normal like Kirby Air Ride race. It's really difficult to describe in sort of one sentence, except to say that it is just chaotic racing battles. And I think that's maybe the most apt way. Is just it is a battle game on wheels. Well, it's not even on wheels because they're hovercrafts, but you know what I mean? Like a racing. I can't remember what I put in my review. I did put a phrase there, but it's like, yeah, it's a racing battle, a racing fighter. I think I said something like that. It's
Okay.
it's like that. So if that sounds appealing, but yeah, it's really fast. Like the races are crazy fast. So sometimes it is quite hard to keep track of things, and cornering is difficult. But it's not that's not a detriment. It just shows off the prowess of the Switch 2, if anything. And obviously, the more you play it, the better you get at it, and you know where the corners are coming, and you can kind of. And it also depends on the machine that you have because some are better at cornering, etc. Because you're not racing, like you're not moving forward by pressing a button. It just moves forward by itself. So your goal is more or less to steer and actually to brake and take the corners appropriately using this boost charge. So
Mhm.
it's a really different mechanic to a racer where you're trying to accelerate as high as possible with a button like Mario Kart. Here, you're actually trying to let your cart go freely and then brake, boost, and turn and shoot forward around the corner like that. So yeah, it's a really different style. It took me a while to get used to it. That's why I was glad I got to play it at PAX and the global test ride. It got me very familiar with it. So when I got the full game, I was able to take it on a bit more easily. But I can see why some people are playing it and going, this is not for me because I just don't know how. Like, it's just not necessarily intuitive initially. And at PAX, you're really, there was a person standing next to you from Nintendo telling you how to play. And then during the global test ride, you've got the practice mode to get through all the training. I did notice in the full game I had to do the training again, which is sort of annoying. I didn't have to, sorry. You don't have to do the training. You can completely skip that. But what I mean is it didn't carry over that I'd already done the training. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, which I thought was weird, but also I think what happened was they added more training elements, like more training levels. So I think that's why that happened. And I went through it again anyway over time just to refresh myself. And if you do have tried the game and were concerned about how it works, you definitely need to do the training. It's not hard, it's fun, it's easy, it's not that time consuming, and you really get a handle for how things work because, yeah, you need that honestly, unless you're some kind of prodigy. I don't know. I certainly need it. It really
An
helped me
air
though.
riding prodigy.
Yeah,
Who
exactly.
knew?
Exactly. That wasn't me. But yeah, super fun. Um, yeah, any other questions for me before we move on?
No, no. I hope that somebody in my family decides that he or she needs this game, and will
Yeah,
get it, so that I'll have reason to jump on and start playing it myself.
yeah. I think it stands out. It's definitely a fun time, and it's very different to anything else I think I've ever played. So, from that perspective, I'm really glad I've had that experience. But yeah, it won't be for everyone. But yeah, it is a lot of love's been put into it, and it is very polished and very fun and crazy. But let's move on to what you're playing this week, or your first game of the next few. What's what's keeping you going until Metroid Prime 4 happens?
Well, you may recall that last year for Christmas, I finally got Metroid Prime Remastered.
That's right.
Um, and I have not played it yet. Oh, I shouldn't say
Ah.
that. I started to play it, but then the reviews interfere and take over, and I set it aside and never
Mhm.
picked it back up. But I thought, well, I got to get into the swing of things before Metroid Prime 4 comes out, so I started playing this. And I mainly put it here. I'm not too far into it because I keep wanting to start it over. And
Mhm.
you played the Metroid Prime games, right?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. My question with this is, now we have all these different controls, and I started playing it with my Pro controller. And because that's the way I played it on the GameCube, but of course it's not how I played it on the Wii when I
Mhm.
was playing through the trilogy. So I keep wrestling with how I want to actually use the controls, which are best, and I've gone online to see what people say. And of course, that's not useful because everybody has their own preference, and
Yes.
everyone's right. So I don't know what that is. But the other thing that keeps throwing me is I have never played a Metroid Prime game right when it was released.
Mhm.
So every single time I played one, I've been able to cheat and look at walkthroughs to help me find where all the hidden power ups are and everything, to
Mm.
make sure that I'm not falling behind. And I keep thinking, do I want to do that this time? Because that really does take a lot of the enjoyment out of it, in
Mm.
that you can't just race through it. Like, I'm constantly playing. I'm like, okay, hold on. Now this map is already complicated enough, but let me see what people say here about how I get to this, or how I get, whatever the boosts are.
Mm.
So I keep it's like I'm too far in my head playing this game again
Yeah.
on what I got to do to just sit down and enjoy it and hopefully get through it within a month before Metroid Prime 4 comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a challenge.
Yeah. So what would you do? I'm asking you how you would approach it in my situation.
Ooh. Well, I would probably, oh gosh, restarting an older game and you haven't been far before, so you don't know where things are, or I mean, it's an older game, so you might have forgotten anyway.
Yeah, it's kind
I
of forgotten.
I would probably try to do it without looking up initially, and then but I wouldn't go too far without if I got frustrated or stuck, I wouldn't worry too much about looking it up personally. So, especially when time is an issue, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I'd give it a go first though, and then, yeah, maybe look into it as I needed to, like, case by case kind of thing, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, and yeah, so that makes sense, and that it's kind of the way I want to do it. But I always keep thinking that I'm going to miss things that I should get,
Mm.
and then can I get so far ahead that I can't go back and get them?
That is a tricky one, yeah. That's a
Yeah.
potential issue. And I would worry about that too because I wouldn't wanna miss stuff. So, I don't know, I mean, you could probably do a light, search where you find out what's available in which sections, but without knowing where they are so that you know not to go too
Oh yeah.
far. Yeah?
Yeah,
That
that's a
might
good
help.
idea. Just have like a checklist and make sure that I've got
Yeah.
everything before I move on, without having to follow the exact same path that someone's recommending to me to get them.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So that could be a way to do
All
it,
right.
maybe as a compromise. I would say, yeah, because you don't wanna take the enjoyment out of it, like you said, but yeah, also you wanna get through it as quickly as possible while enjoying it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough line, it's a tough balance, I think.
Yeah, and for a game like this, you've got to make sure that you're as prepared as possible for the bosses that you're going to be facing, because the bosses, of course, are epic.
Mhm.
Make it a little easier on yourself if you've acquired all the updates that you need.
Yeah, and because if you speed run it, then, yeah, you'll likely miss stuff,
Right.
that will help you. So, you wanna take your time without, you know, taking too long, but you do wanna, yeah, sort of search every nook and cranny as much as
Yeah.
possible, yeah, to
Yeah,
do
and of
that.
course, because there's a lot of backtracking, because
Mm,
you'll find something that you know is probably going to lead to something, but you don't have the ability to access it yet. And then at the end of the
true.
level, you get access, and it's like, oh boy, do I want to go all the way back there and see what's that, or do I just want to push ahead? I don't know how Samus
Mm.
deals with this on a daily basis.
Yeah, yeah.
Her job is very stressful.
Yeah, it is. Poor Samus, honestly, yeah. She does a good job in the Federation.
I hope they pay her well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. She'll go on strike, yeah, yeah. That'll be Metroid Prime
She
5,
did for 18
Samus strike.
years.
She did, that's right. She finally got her upgrade, her pay upgrade, whatever, back on
Yes.
the job. That would be funny if they mentioned something like that, actually. They could do
In
a
which
spin-off.
I would support her. I always support the worker.
Yeah, me too, definitely, yes. Love that. Cool, well, thank you. Maybe you can give us an update next week as to how you've
Yeah.
progressed,
Yeah.
since you won't be playing Metro Prime 4 just yet. We'll see how you go. Because yeah, I don't know, I can't remember how long that one is, like, what's the hours? I suppose it's around, 20 or something,
Yeah,
probably.
it couldn't be that long. Because the remaster didn't add any new content, right? It just made everything look better,
Yeah,
perform better.
mhm, I
Okay.
think so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully you can get I reckon you'll be able to smash through that one easily enough. You're very good at these things. Like, you play long games, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
20 hours is nothing. You know?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah. We need an incentive, like, you need a bonus like we get in our day jobs, like, put in 10 hours extra and you get a or something, I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's yeah, I'd be doing all right then, wouldn't I? All these long games that I play.
Yes,
Yeah.
you would, yes. Exactly. Okay, well, thank you for that. Anything else to add for Metroid Prime Remastered, or just
Nope. Like I
follow
said,
that?
I'll add I'll let you know how things went next week.
Sounds good. Next up for me is a review game called Adventure of Samsara. And this is a Metroidvania, actually, a side-scrolling kind of Metroidvania, which I just picked up to review it. I think it came out a little while ago. It might have been October. I believe it's been out for a little while. I think it's 1999, basically. 19
September.
September, even older. So it has been in our review queue for a little while. So sorry about that. But I've just picked it up because I've been playing a lot of Hollow Knight, as you probably know, and listeners probably know. I could dedicate a whole episode to Hollow Knight, but I haven't even put it on the list. Oh, you know what I will quickly say with Hollow Knight, not to distract from Adventure of Samsara, actually, but I've completed it. So I actually beat the final boss recently
Oh,
with my son Hayden. So yeah,
congratulations.
yeah, very proud of myself. Very happy. That is just a great game. It can't be my game of the year because it's an 8-year-old game. But if you have not played Hollow Knight and you like platformers, Metroidvanias, definitely check out Hollow Knight and Silk Song as well, the sequel, of course. But it is so good. So that has piqued my interest in Metroidvanias recently because I've just been having so much fun. So I thought, Adventure of Samsara, it is a Metroidvania. I'm going to try this one. I also like platformers anyway. I've only spent like a couple hours in this one so far. I think I'm into like the third or fourth level. It's a Metroidvania. So you unlock areas as you progress. I think at first it seemed a bit meh, just because it seemed a bit like every other game I've played in this genre. But
Mhm.
as you progress, I'm getting more and more into it, and you unlock more and more abilities, which make it quite unique. So the main character, he's kind of resurrected from the dead, and there's kind of all these, living skeletons, and there's a necromancer element to it, which again we've seen before, but graphically it's really nice. It's kind of got that retro pixelated look a little bit to it, maybe somewhere between. It's not quite NES 8-bit, it's more like a 16-bit style, but I like that style, and it's kind of like the sprites are these kind of pixelated 16-bit sprites, but some of the backgrounds are quite impressive. Like there's this giant moon in one point that caught my eye. It looked really nice, and there's some snow effects as you're walking through the land, which are really effective. So they've done a good job with the visuals. So as you pick up some of these power ups, for example, the character can. It's kind of like almost. It's not a twin stick. It is a twin stick element where you use a right stick to control this orb of light that follows you, and you can use that to unlock things. It's like an electrical charge of some sort, and then you can unlock spells as well, and you can sort of attribute spells to your L's, what do you call it, trigger button, and they use mana. So you've got your health bar, you've got your mana bar. It's quite tricky. I took quite a while to defeat the first boss, but I did eventually get there. And there are save points. You can restore your health. I don't quite know how that works, but sometimes it'll say press R to restore your health. And I'm like, okay. And I press R and half of my health refills. But I don't know what's letting me do that. Like I can't just do that all the time. So
Yeah.
sometimes I just press it and nothing happens. But then sometimes it does. I don't know what's triggering that, whether it's a timer or it just lets. I don't know. I'm not sure. But it's handy, especially when you're in a boss fight and your health is low and it says press R to restore your health. I'm like, okay, press that one. Thank
Appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and so now I'm exploring. I've gone down into some depths, and I'm exploring some depths, and there's heaps of enemies. They're quite tricky, even apart from the bosses. They'll have very different move sets. I quite like the variety of enemies that there are. Some of them will shoot things at you or roll towards you quickly. They'll attack you with swords, etc. You have a sword as well. That's your main weapon, as well as these spells. You can upgrade your weapon as well. So I've upgraded it to have like a stronger attack kind of thing. There's you can dash as well, which is nice. So you can dash, and this is a Hollow Knight-esque thing where you can dash through enemies without getting damaged. That is really handy because you can dash through and then attack them from the back while they're being silly and attacking you from the front. It's like, haha, I'm behind you now. So that's really cool. So yeah, it's a neat little Metroidvania. I will give it some more time and write up my review over the next week or so. So look out for that one. As I said, I think it's $19.99 on the eShop. It's a Switch 1 game, but Switch 2 compatible. I'm playing it on the Switch 2. Yeah, it came out in September, so yeah, it's a couple months old. But I think it's going to be a decent time when as I progress. So yeah, it's very different to Hollow Knight in some ways. Like Hollow Knight feels very fluid. Like and I don't mean this in a negative way for Adventure of Samsara, but Hollow Knight is very fast and fluid, and the jumping is the Adventure of Samsara hero. I think is meant to feel quite clunky in a way, like maybe they're wearing armor or they're just heavier, if that makes sense. But you can still jump and you can still climb. There's a very big climbing element to this game where you have to jump onto cliffs. And you can kind of latch on with the ZR button, and that helps boost you up. Pull you up. So there's a lot of vertical kind of elements as well to the game. Yeah, so I'm quite enjoying my time with it. I'll spend some more time and let you know how I go.
Cool.
Yeah. But let's move on to your next game. What's happening with this one?
This is a game. Again, I just grabbed it, so I don't have a lot of progress yet, but I can talk about it because it's an older game, one I'd never played before though. So usually when something like this comes around, I tend to jump on it.
Mm.
It's called Outlaws plus Handful of Missions Remastered. Outlaws was a game. It's a first-person shooter that was released by LucasArts back in 1997 for Windows only. And as
Wow.
you know, yeah, I was a Mac owner, so I didn't have it. But it used a game engine, like an enhanced version of a game engine that was used for Star Wars Dark Forces,
Mm.
which when it came out back around that time, in the mid 90s, was one of my favorite games of all time.
Cool.
Especially as far as first person shooters go. I love that game. That game has been remade and or remastered and is available for the Switch right now, from the same company that just did it uh, for Outlaws,
Oh, cool.
Night Dive Studios.
Nice.
So it's a first person shooter. It's set in the Wild West. It has a really kind of slick animated style for like the cutscenes. And then once you get into the actual gameplay, it's very much that angular first person shooter. Like where like everything was pretty much at a right angle. Um, for the action. So it's got a very
Mm.
nostalgic look, but it has been remastered, so it's not quite so pixelated. It looks pretty slick. It looks like it's going to play very well. The I wish there was a Switch 2 version for this, because the release for this states that the visuals on the PC, PS5, Xbox One, and such are up to 120 FPS
Ah.
at 4K.
Mhm.
So I would love to be able to see a, a game like this, one of these 1997 first person shooters, performing that well, but there's no such claims made for the Nintendo Switch. So
Mm.
I doubt it's going to be worth a Switch 2, upgrade, for them. I mean, for them to make it, not for me to buy it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes
But
sense.
yeah, it's just a trip back in time for me. And like I said, I was a huge fan of LucasArts, even with, of course, the X Wings and the TIE Fighter games.
Mhm.
But one of my favorite games at the time came from them, which was Full Throttle, an adventure game that was absolutely fantastic. So I was a big fan of this company, and looking forward to finally getting a chance to play one that I previously haven't.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I haven't really I think I've heard of it, but I've definitely not played it. I love the classic kind of Wild West look of it. With some of those old school, rifles or whatever he's holding there.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks fun.
Yeah,
That's
and one
cool.
cool thing about it too, I just read this. Again, I haven't gotten far enough into. Should say I haven't gotten anywhere in the game other than booting it up and looking at it. Um, but depending on the difficulty level that you set, you can make it so you're pretty much a bullet sponge and you're going to be able to survive a lot of hits, or you can make it where like one or two shots kill you,
Ah,
which
okay.
would make it much more realistic.
Mm.
For a Wild West game, and it would completely change the way you're approaching it. If you could take a lot of hits, you could play like I generally do, where you just run into a room with guns blazing and hope for the best. But if
Yes.
one or two shots are going to take you down, you're really going to have to stop and think about what you're doing, and try to survive the way someone in this situation would actually try to survive. So yeah, it looks like it's going to have some. I'm going to have to make some decisions
Yeah,
and
yeah.
decide if I'm actually going to get good at the game or just enjoy the story and push through it. So,
Mm.
like I said, I'm just looking forward to getting a shot at this one.
Yeah. Is this a review game for you?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. That's really good. I love it when a review game comes in that you are already excited about even before, you know
Yeah.
yeah, that you know of or has a history. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
And Night Dive Studios does a really good job with these. That doesn't mean that the games they remaster are always great, as
Yeah.
some of our previous reviews would indicate, but you can tell they have a lot of love for the source material when they pick up a game like this. So,
Mm,
very
mm.
happy with what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an important element as well, isn't it? You want
Hmm.
to retain some of that nostalgia, obviously improve it for today's audience, but a lot of people are gonna be like you who know it or have played it or whatever, wanna get back into it and give it another go. So, yeah, that's cool. Very nice. Can't wait to hear how it goes. Hopefully it lives up to your expectations.
Yeah. Although we should also point out that this will be two first-person shooters, more or less, that I am playing at the same time,
True,
and I
true.
rarely dig into first-person shooters, so
Same, to be
I'm
honest,
I'm
honestly.
outside my comfort zone here at the end of 2025.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's good practice, I suppose, for Metroid Prime 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe that's why I did it subconsciously. I thought I better go back
Yeah.
into the '90s when this is pretty much all that was ever made, and
Yes.
see what I can still do.
Yeah, I've always found them pretty hard, personally. So, yeah, I'm not the best at those, but that's okay. That's cool. One more game to talk about from me, and this is just a fun game that I've been playing, and it is Hades 2. And what prompted me to play that this week? So, I downloaded Hades recently, and because it was on sale, and I wanted to try it before the sequel came out, and was enjoying that. Obviously, the sequel is out. It came out, I think it was in September, if I'm not mistaken. But there was a physical release that just came out. I think it was November the 20th. I I wanted to get the physical, but I actually didn't. I just downloaded it. It was actually cheaper to download it, which seems not usually the case, right?
Yeah, and it should
Yeah.
be, so I guess good?
Yeah, I guess that's good. I really was tempted to get the physical because it's the full game on a cart. It's not a game key
Okay.
card.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, which is pretty cool, and so a lot of people were online saying, how great that was, and I kinda wanted to support that, but it was, it was an extra $10. Oh, maybe I should have. Too late now. I've already downloaded it, so my choice has been made. But I really wanted to play this one because it is one of the, I guess, bigger indie games of the year. Like, people are
Mhm.
talking about Hades 2 a lot. It's, Game Awards are coming up, and we'll do our own Game of the Year wrap up in the next, few weeks. So I wanted to be exposed to this one in case it makes it to my list, which is more or less why I downloaded it. So I have been playing it. I've been enjoying it. It's a roguelike, where you do runs. But similar to some other games I've played, like TMNT Splintered Fate, each time you die, it's not like you restart. You restart the run, but there's a story that unfolds as you die. So you go back to your base and you talk to some people and things happen. There's like a bit of a backstory. So you play in Hades 2, you play the role of what's her name? I can't remember her name, but she's the princess of the underworld. So I think she's like Hades' daughter, and she's trying to kind of avenge Hades in this case. So it's really, there's a lot of Greek mythology, obviously, which is really cool. You meet different people like Poseidon and Aphrodite and all the rest. And they all have personalities and they can give you upgrades and things like that as you go through a run. We've talked about roguelikes and how they're not all made equally. But well, not recently anymore, probably a year or more now, we sort of got into them a little bit more, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoy them a lot more now than I used to, and uh, appreciate it, especially when it's done this well. Like, this is room to room. You can choose a path. There's kind of two doors, and one might have a heart, one might have a bag of coins, and so well, if I go this way, I'm going to get some sort of heart upgrade or whatever. This way, I'm going to get some coins, or there might be a shop or something like that. So you can choose that. I love those types of games where you get to choose your path that way, and you can upgrade your magic. The combat is really good. You've got, and sometimes when you upgrade your abilities, it's really satisfying to see what sort of powers you can come up with depending on which god or goddess you run into. So it's really fun. I finished the first level, I guess. Like, I did the first boss fight and passed that eventually, and so I went up to level 2, got pretty far, got up to the boss, but unfortunately I did die. So back to the start. But yeah, it's visually, like, and I've got the Switch 2 version, but it is visually terrific. Like, it looks lovely. It's all got full voice acting. I love the story that's unfolding. I love the characters. I love the look of it. It's kind of got a greeny tinge to things. Like, they're just, I think this comes across from Hades 1 as well. It just seems to be like that's their theme. Like, Pure Nintendo has the orange. Green seems to be incorporated a lot into some of their details. But yeah, it's just really fun. Really having a good time with it. So I'm not necessarily reviewing this one. I just picked it up for fun kind of thing. But I am hoping with some more time, I can decide whether this will be my top 10 or not of games of the year. I've got a lot of games to choose from this year, Kirk. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, it really is, and then especially, I mean, we're kind of looking at it with 2 systems too, and that makes it even harder because,
Mhm.
you know, the Switch 2 games are so big and powerful and gorgeous, but, does that mean that they're better than some of these other Switch games that we started with earlier in the year or even later?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a
it's
really
gonna be
good point.
tricky.
It's going to be very tricky. I have started writing down, recording my top 10 titles that I think might make the cut. We always have room for some honorable mentions as well. So yeah, there's just a lot. And when you've got, terrific indie games like Hades 2 and Silk Song and Ball Pit and a lot of other fun games that came out this year, as well as the first party stuff, it's going to be tough. But yeah, I'll see how I go with Hades 2. It is certainly a lovely game, so I definitely recommend it if you like the first
Yeah,
one, especially. Yeah,
I'm looking at the screen captures here as you were talking about it, and it just looks wonderful. I mean,
it
absolutely
does.
wonderful. The amount of detail, I would
Mm.
love to see this in motion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is very detailed. It's terrific. Yeah. And like I said, the voice acting is prevalent throughout the game. Like always, there's people talking, and it's not annoying or anything, Kirk, don't worry.
It's
But the
good.
voice,
Yeah.
yeah, the voice acting is really good. Yeah, the main character's great. Yeah, there's just a lot to enjoy. So I don't know. Sometimes roguelikes do get quite tricky. I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. Also, it's just another game to add to my list. Obviously, I still haven't finished Pokemon yet. We've got Metroid coming in a few days. So yeah, there's a lot to do. But I definitely wanted to try it, and it's I have it now, so I can always jump back into it. At least a run. It's not super short. It's not super long. It's a good balance, and it obviously depends how far you get. And as you progress, you get better. You get more skills. You get more adept at kind of dodging attacks and things like that. So when I started to get some good power ups, I was getting quite excited. Like it's a good feeling. Like there's one I got with my last run where what was it? As I attacked, every time I attacked and connected with an attack, I would shoot out 3 like heat-seeking kind of arrows to enemies that were close by, which just basically gives you another attack for free, essentially. So the more you attack, the more you attack, and it was really satisfying to see these little green arrows shooting out and damaging everyone. Yeah. So it's a lot of fun. I'd love to know if listeners are playing Hades 2 or have played it or the first one. I know that the team behind it spent a lot of time getting it right for Switch 2, which I really appreciate as well. There was a bit of an interview, I think, on Nintendo's YouTube channel a few months ago. So that's really nice. Yeah, but definitely let us know your thoughts on Hades 2 or any of the games that we talked about today. Outlaws, I think some people probably know that one because it is a kind of a classic from the 90s. So let us know if you've heard of that one. What's your favorite Metroid game? If you're playing Kirby Air Riders or anything else we talked about today. Did you have anything else to add, Kirk, before we close things off for the week?
No, I don't think so.
I was going to say, what was I going to say? We've done well time-wise, considering it's only 2 of us. We've usually with Trev, with 3 people, obviously there's more talking. So we've gone over the hour, just the 2 of us. So yeah, we had a lot to say. So
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
again, talking about games, we can keep going. We don't have to stop.
I know, right? We could talk all day. So we do hope listeners enjoy it. Thank you so much for the comments on YouTube for the last episode. Love hearing from you all and what you're playing. Love hearing the vibes and what you're enjoying. Yeah, so really thank you. In fact, just quickly before we go, someone did mention on YouTube Henry Cavill was their pick for Ganon.
Good choice.
I agree. I thought that was a great choice. I can't
Yeah.
believe we didn't think of him. So yes, thank you, because that is totally an excellent pick. I think he's a really good actor. He's kind of got the prowess and and he's English as well, right? Like I think we so
Yeah, and I haven't seen a lot of his movies, but I don't recall seeing him as a bad guy before. So I would like to.
Well, I could tell you one, but it is kind of a twist. But
Okay,
it
don't
is a
tell me
few
then.
years
All
old
right.
though. But anyway, there is one where he is a bad guy. But yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll find it.
Okay. Yes, do that. Do some research. Anyway, thank you, Kirk, so much for joining me this week and helping me talk about all things Nintendo. Thank you, listeners, for joining us. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us at Blue Sky. So check out our posts over there. Of course, our website, purenintendo.com, for all our reviews. I will try to post anything in this the YouTube comments that relates to what we've done. I don't think we have any reviews actually to speak of. Maybe Kirby Air Riders if it's up by then. Of course, if you'd like to support us, you can get yourself a copy of the Pure Nintendo magazine over at patreon.com/purenintendo, where we will deliver a physical printed copy of the magazine to your door when our next issue is ready. So stay tuned for that. But until next week, thank you again and game on, everybody. Bye.